Brilliant. Oh, I've got 2 likes before anybody's even turned up. That's good. So I'll just remind everybody that I'm here. Excellent. I'm just going to eat my dinner while waiting for people to turn up. I have the normal 5 minutes until everybody gets their ass here. 4, brilliant. Pardon me eating. Hi, Roxanne. Hi, John. So, Roxanne, I don't think you've WhatsApped me before, my love. So do you want to take part in the class? You're more than welcome. Send me a WhatsApp on 07. Well, I'll send you the number. Internationally, it works the same way. And then you can be given some stuff to do. Brilliant. So if you're taking part, pardon me with my mouth full, excuse-moi de parler avec la bouche pleine. If you're taking part, can you send me a WhatsApp if you want to be given, and can you actually also give me, John, no, because I know what I need to work on with you. But if you're taking part, apart from John, can you tell me something you'd like to work on this week? Something that you've been thinking about, something you'd like to work on, okay? Stuart informs us that he's watching, but there's a storm coming. Stuart, il nous informe qu'il regarde, mais il y a une tempête qui arrive, un orage qui arrive, une tempête. Yeah, there's a storm coming here. It was really windy. Il y a une tempête ici, il fait du vent, il fait du vent. So Stuart's watching. Someone's typing in the interactive group. Don't type in the interactive group, message me individually. Ne tape pas dans le groupe collectif, envoie-moi un message individuel. Okay, so lovely then. So so far I've got John and that's it. There's no one else who's been given a translation. No one else has WhatsApped me yet. Unless it's just been really slow because of the crazy weather, but I don't think so. I have no other WhatsApps currently. Like I said, it might be the, we have got very bad weather everywhere. So, Cherry, lovely. So are you taking part, Cherry? So can you email me just to say hi so I know that you'll need something? Other than John, I haven't got an email. Haven't got a WhatsApp from anybody saying that they're taking part. And we need to start. We need to get cracking. Ron, we use the expression sous la pluie just in French generally. I mean, logically, Ron has asked me why in Debussy's Sous la pluie, Jardin sous la pluie, singing in the rain, as in, you know, Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds, is chantons sous la pluie. Yeah, we say sous la pluie. Logically, we're not in the rain, are we? We're under the rain, physically. So, yeah, that's what we say. In French, sous la pluie. Yep. Good. Interesting question, Ron. Right, let's crack on then. So, Alex, are you coming in? Stephen, brilliant. Stephen, lovely, lovely, excellent. I've got Stephen, I've got Cherry, I've got Alex, have I? Is that Australian Alex? I've got Rom. Right, off we go. So, John, I'm going to remember which I can't spell, what Luke gives me after finishing a lesson. That's for John. Okay, let's have a quick turnover this week. Jerry, Luke is happy that I remembered his name. Jerry? Right. Who else? Marcy. Past tenses and future tenses. Lovely. Marcy. I will do what I was doing last week. Was doing 2 weeks ago. Luke, I'm going to do it. Alex, you've not WhatsApped me. Yep, WhatsApp me. Stephen, I forget your level, Stephen. Is it beginner refresher? Stephen, can you give me? I am going to try to do it when Luke sends it me. Stephen, that's just to bring up a few issues. Lovely. I haven't had a WhatsApp from anyone else. No, you haven't, Ron, not yet. It hasn't come through. You sure you got the right number? Alex? Right, Alex is good to go. Okay. I used to remember it. But nowadays, I tend to write it down instead of forgetting it. Good. That's for Alex. Can I remind you, please, that when you give me your work, can you say for me in English what the work is you need to do? Est-ce que je peux vous rappeler que quand vous me donnez votre travail, de me dire en anglais l'anglais que je viens juste de vous donner? Okay? Because otherwise I won't be able to do it. Parce que sinon, je ne pourrais pas le faire. It's okay when we start. Ça va au début, mais finally, when we get into the lesson, finalement, quand on arrive au milieu du cours, it makes it really difficult to be able to follow. Ça le rend hyper difficile de pouvoir suivre. Ça le rend hyper difficile de pouvoir suivre. Good, I've got something in from Cherry. Good, so Luke is happy that I remembered his name. Lovely. Cherry, no? No, Cherry. The verb to remember, se souvenir de. It's an ABC, Cherry. Go again. So you've used réfléchis. So you give me the subjunctive of réfléchir, which is great that you know I'm happy or Luke is happy is a subjunctive. C'est excellent que tu saches que je suis content a besoin du subjonctif. That's fantastic. Ça, c'est fantastique. But number one, remembered. So it's in the past. Number two, the verb to remember is se souvenir de. We do have se rappeler de, but don't use it for the moment because I'm going to explain to you why. On a aussi we don't have se rappeler de. Se rappeler de doesn't exist. We have se rappeler, and I'm going to explain to you why. Je vous expliquerai pourquoi. Okay. So go again, Jerry, with se souvenir de. Right. John. I'm going to remember what Luke gives me after finishing the lesson. No. Right, no. No, let me start. Remember, as I've just told Cherry, se souvenir. Right, Roxanne. Where are you from? Email me at Logic Language Learning, because you don't want to pop your, well, everybody here is reliable, but you know, other people watch this. So you don't want to be putting your telephone number all over the place. So Logic Language Learning, email me your telephone number and where you're from, and if I have a moment, will add you on WhatsApp and I will send you one, which is what I do with all the technological remedials. And I will then send you one. So I'm saying, guys, listen, the verb to remember, Cherry and John and all of you, is se souvenir de. ABC verb, that means it's reflexive with a penis. Yeah, it's got something on the end. You cannot get rid of that, all right? So you will hear rappeler involved in the discourse about memory, but that is to remind someone more commonly. Alors, so rappeler à. A second point we're going to move on to in a minute. I might as well get all the grammar out of the way. Rappeler quelqu'un, okay, is basically to call them back. Yeah. And rappeler à quelqu'un is to remind them something. So if you wanted to say, I remember, stick to se souvenir de. Because if you say, I remember my childhood, je me souviens de mon enfance. If you say, I remember my childhood, je me rappelle mon enfance. And it's a really common error amongst French speakers. Like, I mean, amongst native French speakers that are a little bit badly educated. To say, je me rappelle de, it's je me souviens de. So the verb to remember of choice is se souvenir de. A, B, C verb, all right? The verb to remind somebody else is rappeler à. So I'm going to remind him, je vais lui rappeler. All right? So the questions that you've all been given, not all of you, but most of you, have been given something to do with se souvenir, because I just had a bloody feeling that this was problematic. So, yeah, Roxanne, if you could email me. Right? Let's have a listen. So, in other words, John, go again with se souvenir de. Stephen? Good. Stephen, you have such a clear voice. I love it. Pause. There's a lot of good stuff going on. So Stephen has just given me, je vais essayer le faire quand Luc me envoyera. Two things here, Stephen, three things. So you've given me, which has got some wrong bits in it. Je vais essayer le faire quand Luc. What the last bit you gave me was. Quand Luc me envoyera. That's what you sent me, right? So, first things first, I'm going to try to do it. Essayer takes a de. And décider takes a de. Continuer takes an a. And commencer takes an a. All right, guys, always. Sometimes continuer uses a de. Quelquefois continue s'utilise avec de, but it's generally, I use continuer a. So that's your first thing, Stephen. You're going to have to go again with essayer de. All right. Firstly, though, Stephen, well done. Perfect pronoun placement. We've got an infinitive. So, Marcy, you learned that last time. So, basically, I eat it, je le mange. I'm going to eat it, je vais le manger, because you've got an infinitive. So, well done, Stephen. That bit was right. But we need essayer with the de. All right. Next thing. Okay. Next thing. What was I going to say? Je vais essayer de. When he sends it me, so if you've got me, and then if you've got me and then an open mouth verb like envoyer, if you've got me and an open verb like envoyer, you're not going to be saying me and envoyer, are you? You're going to be linking those, okay? You're going to be linking those, all right? So also, Notice in English that we say when Luke sends it me, which is the present tense, but correctly, Stephen has used, which we do in French, the future, because we do use the future a lot in English when we're going to use the present in French. We use the future in French when we use the present in English. So, for example, when you live in France next year, you will learn, it would be better to say when you will live in France next year. However, Stephen, there is an irregular block for the future of send, which is envers. Enverrai, enverra, 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 enverra. Yeah, so it works like voir. I know it's an a verb, but it works weirdly. Okay, so lovely. So you're going to have Martin, don't answer questions that are Stephen's, because it's then making it. I want Stephen to send me this again, please. If you want to take part, Martin, it's lovely to see you here from the YouTube. Like I said, can you email me? Yeah, okay, on that. Oh, can you WhatsApp me on that? And I'll send you your own examples. Is that okay? Because it's just I want Stephen to do this again now. So in other words, Stephen, yes, you've got the SAE. Yes, you've got the right verb. You need a de after SAE. You need to keep the le before the infinitive. That's good. Now, let's think about this quickly. When Luke, so when whoever, me. Now, we've got a pronoun here, Stephen. We've got a direct and an indirect. We've got the word me. So if you said Luke gives me, Luke me donne. Luke gives it, Luke le donne. How would you say Luke gives me it? Luc me le donne. And the technique, Stephen, for remembering direct and indirect is if you've got two words, one of them being an L word, the L word will come second. So me le, te le, me l'ai, nous l'ai, vous l'ai. If you've got two words and they're both L, the longer one will come second. So le, lui, les, leur. Okay, so if you could put all of that in again, Stephen, and you could give me a redone version, that would be fantastic. All right. Right then, Martin, let's see if you've emailed me. WhatsApp me. Good. I've got one from Cherry. Lovely. So Cherry's given me Luc est heureux que je me sois. Lovely delivery, Cherry. Luc est content or Luc est heureux que je me sois souvenu. But remember, Cherry, it's an ABC verb, which means it's not just a reflexive, it's a reflexive with a pronoun. So that means je me sois souvenu de. Yeah, you've got to have the de with that verb. Or what we're coming to in a minute. So remember this, Cherry, and all of you. Se souvenir de needs the de in one format or another. All right. So the next one for Cherry is the girl I remembered is called Cherry. The book I remembered it. The boy I remembered him. So that's for Cherry. All right. Have a think. A, B, C verb. All right. Marcy. Good. I will do what I was doing 2 weeks ago. And then I'm going to do it. So good. Now, Marcy, think. What are my three sounds for the future that you reminded me of earlier? Ré, ra, ren. Which one am I going to use for the je? I think you know it, but I think you just ever so slightly pronounced it wrong. Okay. Now, I will do what in this case when what is not a question. Yeah, it's a non-interrogative what. We use the phrase ce que. So I like what Marcy says. J'aime ce que Marcy dit. So in other words, I will do what, not que. Think what I've just said, ce que. Now, I was doing, what you gave me was j'allais faire, which is I was going to do. And I need I was doing. In other words, I apologize. Did I give you I was doing or I was going to do? Let's just have a little look. Yes, what I was doing. So in other words, Marcy, I need the verb faire sticking in the imperfect. And that means I'm not going to hear j'allais. Yeah. 2 weeks ago. And then I'm going to do it. Let me hear the next bit. Je vais le faire, perfect. And Marcy, when you've got something like that and you've said it through once and it's pretty darn good, try saying it faster for me, my darling. Je vais le faire. Je vais le faire. Practice the speed. So this goes for all of you. If you've got something you've done and you think you're pretty confident with it, try saying it again a second time faster. All right? Good. But in other words, Marcy, I'm going to need to hear I'm going to need to hear the what. I'm going to need to hear the future with the je correctly. I'm going to need to hear the ce que rather than the que. And I'm going to need to hear the I was doing rather than the I was going to do, which is beautiful French you gave me, but I was doing. And then I need you to just give me that back, all right? Good. So send that back to me, Marcy, as soon as you can. Over to who else we've got here? We've got John again. Oh, hang on, someone's. Ron, you sending it me in WhatsApp, Ron? Can you send it me? Can you send it me privately? You know, I keep saying this every week. Can you send me a private WhatsApp, not in the group? Yeah, because otherwise it just bothers people who aren't in the group, who are in the group but aren't taking part today. John, and I must check my email. Yeah, so John has reminded me very nicely. I'm going to remember what Luke gives me after finishing the lesson. Oh, John, you just had to ruin it at the end. Le cours. Okay? But lovely. So, je vais. What did I give him? I'm going to finish. I'm going to, je vais finir. No, I'm going to remember. That was the point. Je vais me souvenir de. So, in other words, if this verb is se souvenir de, that's the reflexive form. That's the ABC form. I'm going to remember. Je vais me souvenir de. What as a non-question? Ce que. Note for Marcy. Ce que. Luke gives me, Luke me donne, or if it was going to be what Luke will give me, but we'd say it in the French as the present, as Stephen has correctly pointed out, we would use the future for that. So, ce que Luc me donnera, but if it's what Luke gives me generally, then ce que Luc me donne, after finishing the class, après avoir fini le cours. Lovely, John. Good. So now, John, can you now give me, I used to remember what she told me. She had told me. Now, because she is older, I remind her. John. All right? Stephen. Good. Now, Stephen, that is lovely. Je vais essayer de faire quand Luc me l'enverra. Now, I'd like you, Stephen, to get into. I'd like you to watch a video that I did last week, which is called Where Do You Put the Stress in French? And I'd like you to, from the get-go, all of you, not get in the habit of putting the emphasis on certain words. So when you speak French properly, you don't stress certain words, one of them being prepositions. So I know academically you all, and that's excellent to go, je vais essayer de. Yeah, but in French, no one's going to say that. We'll just say, oui, alors moi je vais essayer de. It's not just about the speed generally, it's about the speed on different words. So je vais essayer de. Don't spend any time on de. All right? Good, Stephen. That was lovely. All right? So, Stephen, I am looking after the boys whilst, depending whether you're North American or British, whilst their mother is abroad. It's interesting that they are here. I'm assuming you're a PH. If you're a V, I apologize. Alex? I used to remember it, but nowadays I write it down instead of forgetting it. So, je m'en souvenais. So basically, we're saying it's an ABC verb, which is se, reflexive, and then whatever the preposition is. So, sorry, se, verb, and then whatever the preposition is. It could be de, it could be a, could even be avec. Je m'entends avec. And if you're not using de, so if you've not got I remember de, the thing, you're going to swap that for an on. So je m'en souviens, je m'en occupe, en. Point. Don't do this so much with people. Yeah, if you said I remember him, as I believe someone's got in their homework, je me souviens de lui. Don't say je m'en souviens for him. It's not as done, okay? So in other words, when you're talking about objects using an ABC verb, I mean things. I don't mean grammatical objects. I mean things. When you're talking about things and not people, using an ABC verb, reflexive verb with the preposition se, verb de, or se, verb a, don't use the en and the e shortcuts, all right? If you don't know about ABC verbs, period, full stop, send me an email and I will forward you the video. All right, so lovely. So let me just have a little listen to that again to check the rest of it's fine. So, je m'en souvenais. So, Stephen, Alex, you really need to watch that video on what to pronounce, all right, which words to stress. So, the general accent's fine, but je m'en souvenais, go a bit longer, je m'en souvenais. Mais de nos jours or actuellement. We don't say aujourd'hui, meaning nowadays, today. We don't say that. Yeah, today, but today, more and more girls use this kind of thing instead of whatever, you know. No, we don't do that in French. We say de nos jours. Lovely. Or you can say actuellement, obviously currently, actuellement. So, j'ai tendance à, lovely. Yeah? To tend to is avoir tendance à. Instead of, au lieu de, or plutôt de, but you need a de. Yeah? Au lieu de l'écrire. Yeah? Yeah. Instead of, what did I give you? Instead of, I can't remember. Yeah, au lieu de l'oublier, or plutôt que de l'oublier. That would need a plutôt que de l'oublier. And so, no. Au lieu is nicer. Au lieu de l'oublier. Yeah, au lieu de. So instead, with a verb, it's nicer if you use au lieu plus de. So instead of speaking to John, I spoke to Cherry. Au lieu de parler avec Jean, j'ai parlé avec Cherry. Okay. I was going to speak to John, but I spoke to Cherry instead. J'allais parler avec John, mais j'ai parlé avec Cherry plus tôt. That's my preferred use of which one you use. Notice that plus and tôt, separate words earlier. Plus tôt, one word means instead, or it also means rather. Ouais, j'étais plutôt fatigué. I was rather tired. All right. Good then, Alex. So next one for you. I'm a bit knackered this week because somebody made a mistake and I was given something dodgy, something suspicious to eat. That's for Alex. I'm a celiac, for those that don't know, and some asshole in a restaurant gave me the wrong thing, and I've been really poorly all week. Lovely. Over to Cherry. So let me just find where I wrote this down for Cherry. Where's it gone? The girl I remembered is called Cherry. The book, I remembered it. The boy, I remembered him. No! Fail. I expect better from you, Cherry. You're one of my smart ones. Right. If I gave you a verb normally, Cherry, with de, what would you do? So if I gave you, I need the boy, j'ai besoin du garçon. So in other words, de I need the cream. J'ai besoin de la crème. The cream I need, la crème dont j'ai besoin. So topsy-turvy de, or as I like to call it, X de Y, Y dont X. Okay, and X is the person doing it, okay, and Y is the object. So X will be the verb clause, Y is the object clause. So j'ai besoin de la crème. The cream I need, la crème dont, yeah, dont j'ai besoin. And if you are getting rid of the what comes after, so if you say I need it, you're not going to use a de, you're going to use an en, en. So in other words, if I've got je me souviens de quelque chose, I remember it, je m'en souviens. But with people, as I said earlier, Cherry, you do not do that. So if you said I remember him, well, we'll see if you got to that one. But in other words, if you've got je me souviens de la fille, the girl I remember, la fille dont je me souviens. It doesn't matter if it's a plain verb with the de, it doesn't matter if it's a reflexive verb with the de. If you are using a verb with de and an object and then you swap the object and the person around, you will use dont. I'm talking about my friend Cherry. Je parle de my friend I'm talking about, not mon ami que or qui or any of the, mon ami dont. Can't be going que, Cherry, because you've not got, because you originally had a de. And prepositions. Okay, so the girl I remembered is I remember is called Cherry. Let me see now if you got the rest right. So again, the book, I remembered it. So you've just tried to use a le. You've just tried to use a je me and a le. You can't use a le, Cherry, because the fact is your verb space is already taken. So you try to stick je me le. Now, I'm not denying that there are other times in French where you can use me and le, but not here, because the verb is reflexively going to me. Listen again. Se souvenir de quelque chose. Se souvenir de quelqu'un. If you want to stick an it in there, you've got to do like Alex has done, and you've got to make, what do we say? So X de Y, Y dont X, or X, when there's no Y, use an en. So I'm going to need you to stick an en in because it's about the book. But the boy, I remembered him. No, so you've tried to use a lui again. So in other words, to him. Let me make this perfectly clear. The verb is se souvenir de. The only thing that you are ever going to be able to stick in the middle of that is an en. It's the only thing. Yeah? Je m'en souviens, and then no de. Yeah? So go again, Cherry, with all of that. So the girl, topsy-turvy de, I remember. So we're basically really looking for this. Basically, we need a mastery of de, dot, and en. De, dot, and en. Okay, if you don't know de, dot, and en, guys, email me and I will send you the Trident video. All right, but you really need to know. So in other words, if you're using an ABC verb with de, you need to know how to do Tridents. All right, try one more time, Cherry, and then if not, I will give you the answer. Sam wants to join us. Oh, hang on, I've just got to check an email. Roxanne. So I've got technically stupid people. My heart goes out to them. But it isn't for me to have to faff around and try and do this in the middle of a class. So I'm not always the best I'm not always desperately happy to have to do it, but I will, because clearly Roxanne has been trying, and our heart goes out to her. So if I had right, so All right, so let's try and do a number. Oh, this wastes everybody's time, Roxanne. You just need to learn how to do WhatsApp. Right. New contact. Let's save it to that one. All right. So got +1 for, I knew it was America. If someone can't use WhatsApp, they're normally American. 2. I think we might have liftoff. In a second. Roxanne. Here we go. Right, Roxanne. Brilliant. Bloody finally. Excellent. So over we go to, so Roxanne, could you just quickly send me a little message on WhatsApp, Roxanne, telling me your level? So if you could just tell me your level, okay? And I've got an, oh yes, from Cherry. Sue, are you joining us as well? If you want to join in, Sue, send me a little message. Right, so Marcy. Perfect answer from Marcy. That's progress. Je ferai ce que, what? Yeah. Je faisais. Lovely. Remember, Marcy, if in doubt, if you can't find the imperfect, guys, where do you go? You go to the nous form of the present tense. Nous faisons, rip off the en, add on my a, ending for the was. Je faisais. Okay. Lovely. Great, Marcy. So lovely. So he will be able to help me to speak next week. The phrase to help someone to do something is aider quelqu'un à. My number lock has been switched off. Why is my number lock been switched off? That's a bit odd. Can you not do vowels and, okay, for some reason I can't do accented vowels in the chat today. Aider quelqu'un à faire quelque chose. To help somebody to do something, Marcy, is aider quelqu'un à faire quelque chose, not aider à quelqu'un. All right? So he will be able to help me to speak next week. That's the new one for Marcy. And then can you give me, Marcy? He would be able to, which is basically the same as he could in the future. In the conditional, he could help her to do it next week. That's those two are for Marcy. Sam, I think you need one. I wouldn't have been able to remember you if you hadn't introduced yourself. Sam? Who's next? Yes, I've just sent Sam on. That's great. Izzy? Oh, well, Izzy, if you're going to pass me a compliment about my birthday, of course you can join. So, I'm sorry that I am late. Yeah. And I want that with an infinitive to pull it off. There's my little hint. Could I join you? I hope your birthday. So I'm using your original message and I'm just making it a bit more interesting grammar-wise. I hope your birthday went well. That's for Izzy. Lovely. Next up. Stephen? So, some good work, Stephen, but we need to work on the voice, and I'm looking forward to doing that in our private. Let me quickly find what I gave you. I'm looking after the boys whilst their mother is abroad. It's interesting that they are here. Right. Je m'occupe des enfants, or je m'occupe des garçons. Lovely. So notice, guys, de is not a word. De is a concept. De could become do if it had a le after it, when the le means de. If the le is a pronoun, you do not join it. I've just seen him. Je viens de le voir. We don't go je viens du voir. I've just seen them. Je viens de les voir. We don't say je viens des voir. So as long as your le means a the, de plus le will become du, and de plus les will become des, des. So I'm looking after the boys. Cherry, take note, is a reflexive verb with a pronoun, otherwise known as an A, B, C, which means there's 3 bits. A is the reflexive, B is the verb, C is the pronoun. Wake up, Luke, is the preposition. So I remember the boys. I'm looking after the boys. The verb here is s'occuper de. So correctly, Stephen has given me je m'occupe de les garçons, which becomes je m'occupe des garçons. Whilst, now Stephen, lorsque or pendant que, both of those words exist without a que. Pendant Noël, during Christmas, lors de mon arrivée, at the time of my arrival. But during or whilst need a que if going into a person. And there's quite a lot of words in French that you will discover need a que if you're then going to follow with a person. So perhaps, peut-être, perhaps he is, peut-être qu'il, yeah, it's going to have a que, all right? So whilst their mother is abroad, lorsque leur mère est à l'étranger, that was lovely. It's interesting that they are here. I didn't hear the last bit. So you recognized from it's interesting that is a neutral expression. Guys, if you don't get why that's subjunctive, or you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about when I say subjunctive, send me an email, logiclanguagelearning@gmail.com. It's on the about section of the YouTube channel, and I will send you the videos on it. Or I would recommend that you get the podcasts, which cover the subjunctive in like 4 or 5 sections. And those of you that have got the podcast, I'm not bringing it up right now. I spent a bit of time finding Roxanne. But if someone's got a podcast list and they could just look for me and tell me what numbers the subjunctive is, that would be useful. So, but otherwise, the thing that you can buy that talks about all the grammar from start to finish of verbs mentions subjunctives. So, yeah, so it's interesting. C'est intéressant or il est intéressant that they, now don't forget, Stephen, a que when followed by an il or an elle, or when using an en formally, que l'on, Q-U-E-L'-O-N, informally, quand. You know, fine, go with it. It's going to link. Donc, c'est intéressant qu'il soit là. And we tend to use là more than ici. C'est intéressant qu'il soit là. Yeah? Il y a quelqu'un là? Is there somebody there? Is there somebody here? Yeah. C'est intéressant qu'il soit là. Lovely, Stephen. Good. Okay. Luke is really happy that I looked after them. Talking about books. Yeah. He shouldn't have ever left them alone. Stephen. Good. Did I send you something, Susie? No. So Susie, can you have Susie, remind me, what did we do in your last class? Where are we up to? Let me very quickly check. Oh, I've just signed out of Skype. Bollocks. Susie, if you could quickly remind me what we did. No offense, but there's a lot of people I teach. Susie. Guys, for those of you watching, I'd say about 10% of the people on this class are people that in this group are people that I teach. You don't have to be in my private classes to do the classes, but it helps. It's like you don't have to be mad to work it, but it helps. It does help you. Not now. Susie. What did I do with Susie? Miss Turner. What did we give her? Yeah, we did future and stuff. Yeah, we did all the tenses. Yeah, because we're on to subject stuff next week. So basically, Sue, can you have? I will be happy next week. Luke, I'll be happy to come. Luke, I'd wanted to go to Paris to see you, but several things. No, but thing makes it difficult every time. Take your time, Sue. Yeah. Quick hint: to make somebody an adjective is one verb. To make somebody a verb is another verb. So I make Sue speak French is one verb. I make Sue happy is another verb. That's all I'm going to say. Cracking on. John. I used to remember what she told me. I used to remember what she told me, what she had told me. Hang on. Yeah. So I used to remember what she had told me. Now, because she's older, I remind her. And this one is dedicated to my best friend, whose mom is suffering from dementia. Lovely, John. So basically, je me souvenais de, John has gone fine. It's an ABC verb. I can use the reflexive element. I can use the preposition element. I can do what I want with the verb in the middle. I can go in any tense. Je me souviens de, je me souviendrai de, je m'étais souvenu de, je me serais souvenu. I can do anything verb-wise as long as I'm remembering it's reflexive and I've got my preposition. All right? So je me souvenais de. Try not, John, to get in the habit of stressing sukkah. You would also do well to watch the video that I'm telling Stephen about, which is words you do and do not stress, which I think was up last week. I don't mind grammar-wise you going, je me souvenais de ce que, de. Although incidentally, that's going to be ce qu'elle, isn't it? Yeah. But don't get into the habit of doing that. Ouais, je me souvenais de ce qu'elle. It's just going to come flying out, all right? You don't stress ce que. But let's listen then. So, I used to, which is the same as was, remember what she had told me. Je me souvenais de ce qu'elle m'avait dit. Had in the middle is was in the auxiliary, ce qu'elle m'avait dit. If you don't understand how we did had rather than have or has, email me and just say, I don't understand had in the middle of a verb, and I will email you about the pluperfect. Now, because she's older, I remind her. Lovely. And there's some far more, I think it's, in terms of courtesy, I think it's nicer to say plus âgée than plus vieille. Yeah? Yeah, maintenant parce qu'elle est plus âgée, I remind her. Lovely, John. Because John has learned to listen. It wasn't an overnight process, but John has learned to listen, and he was told to remind someone is rappeler à quelqu'un. And that when you use the dictionary infinitive, you cannot go fucking wrong. So basically, rappeler à quelqu'un means Let's say she. So she reminds me, elle me rappelle, te rappelle, nous rappelle, vous rappelle, elle leur or lui rappelle. So basically, when you've got a verb and you're working out whether it's, direct or indirect, the only one you need to care about, the only situations you need to care about are when it is he, she, it, they, or with a name involved. Because any other situation will be me, te, nous, vous, whether it is reflexive, direct, or indirect. All right? Good, John. That was excellent. So I'd like you at the beginning of your next one, John, to practice saying that one for me as fast as you freaking can. Yeah? Just say it really quickly. But lovely, John. I'm really happy. All right. I used to remember it talking about an object. Yeah. But I wouldn't seen it if Luke hadn't showed me it. That is a fucker, John. Yeah, but it's just to check the grammar. All right. I know that is full of lots of different stuff, but there's nothing individually hard. It's just a lot at the same time. Good man. Off you go. Alex, I'm a bit knackered this week because somebody made a mistake and gave me something fishy. Yeah, fishy, although fishy means like the flavor. Well, no, you can say it's a bit fishy, it's a bit suspicious. I mean dodgy. Yeah, dodgy as in, a bit crook, a bit, what would you use in Australia? A bit, Good. So the word is not crevé. Yeah, the word is crevé. Je suis un peu crevé. There's no accent on the E. Yeah, one of the best things you guys can do for yourself is check out how you're saying your word on the letter E. Now, there are times when there's a letter E without an accent where it will give you an E, namely ER, ES, ET, and a couple of others. So manger, ER, but we still say A, tuer, UR, ES, Luke and Craig, ET. But the fact is, most of the time in French, if you've not got a hat on, be it or air, or air, acute or grave. I hope that hasn't turned the camera around. Acute is bottom left to top right, and grave is top left to bottom right. The acute is the quick one. The grave is the slow one, but it's the same sound. It's the same sound. It's just faster or slower. If you don't have a vowel, if you don't have an accent on that E, then it's just a freaking je, me. Yeah. So lovely. So je suis crevé. Yeah, I wouldn't say crevé, right? So I'm a bit knackered this week. So someone made a mistake. Quelqu'un a fait une erreur. Did I give you someone made or someone had made? Because someone made a mistake. Right. I would have liked quelqu'un s'est trompé from the verb, reflexive verb, se tromper. So notice, guys, there's a reflexive verb. It's not a reflexive verb with a preposition. It's not an ABC verb. It's just a reflexive verb. If I wanted to do an ABC verb, I would treat it like a reflexive verb, but I just remember it's got to have a de on the middle or an on in the middle, a de on the end or an on in the middle, or an a on the end or an e in the middle, all right? If you don't understand what I'm talking about, contact me and say, please, can I buy your podcast? Lovely. So what I like here, there's some good grammar. So I was given is the passive. Yeah, the passive. And we don't play around when we're passive. If we are using I was given, one of the first and easiest tricks to make something passive work is to make it active. So say, somebody gave me. On m'a donné, quelqu'un m'a donné, or ils m'ont donné. They, one, or someone. Right? Notice it's the on. We don't mean we for that. We don't mean we. We use en meaning general, So on m'a donné quelque chose, I was given something. Now notice on a side note, if you were using was, which is less done for people, so the castle was destroyed, You know, like I said in the video last week online, that's one of the rare places in French where if you say was in English, you won't be using the imperfect. So if you say the castle was destroyed as a description, fine, le château était détruit. If you said the castle was destroyed, meaning the castle got destroyed, then you would need to use the passé composé, le château a été détruit. So, lovely, Stephen. So basically, quelque chose de, something plus an adjective will always be quelque chose de louche. So I'd like you to say this to me, Stephen. I'm going to send it you orally, and you're going to send it back to me. Enfin, je suis un peu crevé cette semaine parce que quelqu'un s'est trompé. Ils m'ont donné quelque chose de louche à manger. All right? So I would like you, sorry, Alex, I would like you to say that to me. J'étais un peu crevé cette semaine parce que quelqu'un s'est trompé et on m'a donné quelque chose de louche à manger. I'd like you to have it in that sort of flow. All right? When you've said that back to me, I'd like you to do this one. Luke has if Luke hadn't allowed himself to drink a lot of coffee today, he wouldn't have managed it. And the verb to manage it in this case, Stephen, is s'en sortir or se débrouiller. Yeah. Hang on, let me give it you. So I'm basically treating you as if you had there you go. Collins wasn't the one I was expecting. I wanted it to be word reference, but there you go. Yeah. So if Luke hadn't allowed himself to drink a lot of coffee today, he wouldn't have managed it. That's for Alex. All right. Moving on. Oh, I've just seen your little hurrah, John. That's brilliant. Next up, we've got Sam. What's always hilarious with this is if my friends contact me, like my normal friends contact me during this hour, my brain always goes, why is Todd sending me a message? Why? I'm always like, is he doing the class? Si un de mes amis normaux, notice plural normal, masculine normal, si un de mes amis normaux essaye de me contacter pendant cette heure-ci, je me demande toujours, est-ce qu'ils font le cours? C'est bizarre, ça. Okay, so Sam. Sam, you sound like you've been piping a hot pipe of crack or something like being able to remember you. Let's just bring it up. No, where's Sam? I can't find Sam. I wouldn't have been able to remember you if you hadn't introduced yourself. Je n'aurais pas pu souvenir de toi. What is the reflexive verb to remember? And I'm sure a lot of you after this class can now remember that. Ah, so je n'aurais pas pu, beautifully prepped, beautiful delivery, lovely cadence, lovely rhythm. The verb to remember is now coming as an infinitive. It's still a reflexive verb. Yeah. So if you've had other bits going on in your sentence, don't forget that your reflexive verb is still a reflexive verb, Sammy. Yeah. So go again with that bit. Lovely. And Sam has heard, if you hadn't introduced yourself, and he's not intimidated because he goes, right, you had done, so you have done, tu as fait, you had done, so you have done, tu as fait, you had done, tu avais fait. He's comfortable with that. You, an extra verb in the past, so you left, tu es parti, normal French, you had left, tu étais parti. He's not intimidated by that either. He's not, John, this is why we practice the reflexives in different tenses as per your homework. Neither is he intimidated by if you hadn't introduced yourself. he's just doing a reflexive verb, so the poetry past. Je me suis, tu t'es, il s'est, nous nous sommes, vous vous êtes, il se sont. And he just knows I can make that hardcore what had in the middle. Je m'étais, tu t'étais, il s'était, nous nous étions, vous vous étiez, il s'était. He also knows that I can stick in an adverb after verb number 1. C'est si tu ne t'étais pas présenté, or si tu t'étais pas présenté. So was it totally clean mentally? Was it the smoothest at the end? There's a bit of a, oh, hang on, but you got there nicely. Good job. So say that for me again with the reflexive in the right place in the first part, Sam, and then do this one. Okay. Luke, this is me up because he's always right. This time. He's the best I've ever seen. There's a grammatical reason for why I'm giving you that. He's the best I've ever seen. That's for Sam. And I'd like for me in a WhatsApp, Sam, I've ever seen. Just to make a point I'm trying to make. Lovely. But can you just say for me the first bit with the reflexive in it again? Lovely. I've got Izzy. Guys, those of you that wait, ceux parmi vous qui doivent attendre, I promise you, I just work my way through them when they come. All right? So I'm sorry if you're, well, you shouldn't be bored. Yeah, enfin, vous devriez pas vous faire chier parce que there's lots to listen to. Enfin, il y a beaucoup, plein de choses à écouter, but I'm just saying if I haven't got round to you, I will. I'm just doing it in the correct order. So we're on to Izzy. I'm sorry that I'm late. Could I join you? I hope your birthday went well. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So lovely. So I said to Izzy, I'm sorry that I'm late. If your verb is using I am something or other, and then a subjunctive style thing, rather than going je suis que je sois en retard, which isn't by all means incorrect, it's much more common French to say je suis dégoûté, je suis whatever, navré, gutted, je suis désolé d'être en retard. Yeah? So it's just worth bearing that in mind. It's necessary that I go to Paris. Il faut que j'aille à Paris. Now, by all means, those of you doing A-level, you want to try and get the subjunctives in. But when speaking, if you say, oh, I need to go to Paris, if you say, well, il faut aller à Paris, and you're talking about yourself, I kind of know. Oh, non, il faut aller à Paris. You need to go to Paris for that. You can't do that in, Poitiers or Lille. There's not a lot you can do in Poitiers and Lille, quite frankly. Sorry to anybody that's got any connection to Poitiers, but Futuroscope, like a theme park without rides, Jesus Christ. Lille, I'm not a fan of Lille, but, a lot of people kind of are quite fond of it. I had a guy that I teach who went there randomly with his girlfriend before leaving France, where he's been living for 4 months, to go to Japan, and he went on a dirty weekend there, and he said it was fantastic. And he said, oh, I had a really good time. I found myself in Lille's gay bar. I went, do you mean Lille's gay bars? And he went, no, Lille's gay bar, as in there was one. Straight guy, but had a good time. Right. Lovely. Pourrais-je? I'm not a fan of inversions, as you know, guys. So if you were using may I, can I would make our American friends wince, but, may I? Puis-je, Puis-je-, that's a slightly archaic form. And notice how it links to the subjunctive of je puisse, que je puisse. But basically, do I mind people saying puis-je? I don't like pourrais-je. Est-ce que je pourrais? Yeah? So can I remind all of you the 3 techniques to asking a question? First one is tone of voice. You want to come? Tu veux venir? Tu vas venir? You're going to come? Second method is an inversion. Verb first. Vas-tu venir? As-tu faim? Êtes-vous française? Third method is est-ce que, qu'est-ce que. Try and shove in an est-ce que. Yeah? Est-ce que vous êtes française? Est-ce que tu vas venir? And I think sometimes that just rings a little bit, more nicely. So in other words, est-ce que je pourrais Lovely, and we've got a lovely use there of the verb rejoindre. So weirdly, in French, sometimes verbs will have a re, even if it's not a redoing of the thing. So I'm rejoining. Hey, you guys go to the park. I'll join you later. I've not been in the park with them, mais je te rejoins. Je te rejoindrai. Yep. So lovely. I hope you had a nice birthday. Lovely. And you've done the rewording I wanted, Miss Izzy. Fantastic. I hope you had a nice birthday. So firstly, guys, I hope sounds like it should be subjunctive because it is in Spanish, incidentally. Espero que hayas pasado, whatever. Un buen cumpleaños. It is also in Italian. It is not in French. J'espère que tu vas bien. You will have come across in your writing, in your GCC, in your high school, in your whatever basic style textbooks. J'espère que vous allez bien. J'espère que vous allez bien. Notice it's not j'espère que vous alliez bien, which would be the subjunctive. So j'espérais is indicative. It's not subjunctive. Lovely. See, that was all great then. So apart from a little bit of est-ce que je pourrais, Izzy, I want Luke is so happy that I managed it using the verb s'en sortir, like Alex. It's going to help me a lot. Not being able to do this kind of thing. That's it. Onward and upward. Roxanne. Finally get to Roxanne. Okay, so did I not give you something to do, Roxanne? Did I not give you something to translate? Like everybody I deal with, they always want to give me the whole narrative. They just want to talk about their pasts. And I don't assess people by what they tell me. I assess people by what they translate. What did I give you? What did I give you, Roxanne, my darling? Can you remember what I gave you? I'm sure I gave you something. If I didn't, I apologize. I'm fairly confident that I did. Did I not give you something to translate? Somebody help find it for me. Where's it gone? Did I not give you anything? Ugh. No, I did ask you to tell me what level you wanted. I did, but that was in English, not in French. So I apologize then if I've not given you anything right. Here you go. Luke is thrilled, and I will deal with you really quickly, Roxanne. So as soon as you send it, I'll mark it. Luke is thrilled that I've arrived. He is going to me to speak. My French is improving thanks to his videos, without which I could not continue. That's for Roxanne. As soon as that's in, Roxanne, ping me on here as well as WhatsApp, and I will mark it so that you haven't sat for nothing. Cherry. Hang on, is called. So Cherry, careful, careful, careful. You always miss the first bit off, Cherry. So press the button and then speak. You always miss the first bit off a message. So the girl that I remembered, excellent though, la fille dont je me suis souvenu. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay. S'appelle, yeah, not est appelé, not is called. Yeah, s'appelle. Yeah, my housemate's called Santa Claus. Don't know, you know, mon coloc s'appelle. Yeah, okay. Okay. Lapin, don't use my classes to start dialogues while I'm bloody teaching. Send me a message and I'll give you all the advice in the bloody world. But don't use my classes while people are listening and trying to learn grammar to start a separate conversation. And I mean that with all the love in the world. I'm thrilled you're debating doing A-level French. If you're at school and you're doing A-level French, let me know. If you're not in school and you're debating A-level French, don't do it. Yeah, do one of the DELF or the DELF exams instead, and I should explain to you why. And there's plenty of people who will back me up. Drop me a WhatsApp. Lapin, I've forgotten what your name is. Drop me a WhatsApp and I will explain that to you. But don't start a conversation in my chat group. That's rude. It's like talking behind someone's back. But I'm thrilled you want to do A-level. But just don't do it. If you're at secondary school, do it. If you're not at school and you're debating doing it as an adult, don't do it. There's better things you can do. So drop me a WhatsApp and I'll talk to you about it. Good? No! So basically, you've just basically bloody perfectly, Cherry, used se souvenir de. You've then got the same verb and all of a sudden, you've started using on and you've started using rappeler. I told you specifically, rappeler does not use de. So it's not se rappeler de, therefore it can't use on in this way. It can't, Cherry. So the book, I remembered it, le livre, and you're not going to say je m'en ai. Now, in other times, yeah, je m'en suis, je m'en suis, je m'en suis, je m'en suis. It's a reflexive verb, Cherry. That's what an ABC is. Now, your mind is going, I remembered the book. So your mind isn't thinking that it's reflexive, but it is. It is. Your mind's thinking, well, you're not remembering yourself, you're remembering the book. It's an AB, it's a reflexive verb. So listen to this, guys. I look after John. I remember John. I'm getting used to John. All of these in French are me and John. Yeah? All of those verbs in French are about me. Yeah? Je me souviens de John. Je m'occupe de John. There's a me though. The je me, je me, je me. So in other words, Cherry, okay? The girl that I remembered is called Cherry. La fille dont je me suis souvenu s'appelle Cherry. All right? The book. Now, the reason I said the book first was to let you know that when you say I remembered it, that you are dealing with an object and not a person, which means you are safe to use on in the middle of the sentence, which, to be fair to you, you have tried to do, but you've got to do it with the verb se souvenir de. And if it's se souvenir de, that means it's reflexive, which means you've got to bloody use an extra in the middle of it. Je m'en suis souvenu. Yeah? So le livre, je m'en suis souvenu. Okay? I remembered him, le garçon. Je me suis souvenu de lui. You can't be sticking an on in the middle of that. So in other words, Cherry, here's your revision point. Se souvenir de is your only freaking verb to remember at the moment. Don't be using se rappeler until I tell you to. And even then it would be different and it wouldn't use de. Get the management down of se souvenir de and we'll crack on, right? Next point. Se souvenir de will always contain either a de, either an don, or either an en in your writing, in your speaking at the moment. There are people that say, oui, je me souviens, without je m'en souviens. But for the moment, in the way that you're working, in the speed you're aiming to try and get to advanced French, it's got to have one of those three with it at the moment, all right? Good. How much more have I got left? Have I got time to... Yes, I'm going to give Cherry just a couple more. Okay? So, using... Let's change the verb. S'occuper. De. All right? For Cherry, I used to look after it. An object. I used to look after him. Your verb is se souvenir, Cherry. Yeah? Your verb is se souvenir. Sorry, your verb is se souvenir de. One of them is going to have on in the middle of it because it's an object. One of them is going to have de plus a shortcut for him because it's a person. I then, Cherry, like the boy I used to look after, the book I used to look after, which in theory shouldn't make a difference with the grammar there because, well, you let me know. So you've got your fourth sentence to do. Yeah. What's up? What's going on with Roxanne? Oh, I see, Roxanne. No, I type it here on the screen. God, you want everything doing. You want in adding yourself. Do you want a foot massage while you're there, Roxanne? No, I type it on the thing. Yeah, I type it for you on the right. Here you go. This is for Roxanne. I did tell you. I type it in the thing. Yeah. Right. I'm happy you're with us. American. I was married to an American for many years, so you know it's okay. I'm saying that with all the love in the world. No, Roxanne. No. I mean, I'm pulling your leg, but you're capable. I don't want you sitting there not doing some work. Roxanne, I've just typed it for you. Yeah? Good level of French, intermediate. We need to push you. There's your homework. Get cracking. Send me a WhatsApp. The minute you've done it, say hi to me, all right? I'll jump you up the queue because you've sat there like a lemon not being able to work. Good. Marcy. Oh, shit. Sorry, Susie. I'm respecting the order, although I am going to let poor Roxanne jump the queue. All right. I'll be happy to come next week. I wanted to go to Paris to see you, but something makes it difficult every time. Lovely, Sue. Lovely. Not only was it grammatically correct, it was bloody linked. Lovely. What a freaking fantastic piece of progress, Sue. I'll be happy to come next week. Je serai content de venir. Yeah, or contente de venir because it's Sue. Yeah. La semaine prochaine, lovely. Notice grammar newbies that we say, I will be happy to être content de. Use my trampoline, right? I wanted to go to Paris to see you, but something makes it difficult every time. Now, did I give you I had wanted? I think I'd given you I had wanted. So in which case, you'd be right with j'avais. Yes, I gave you I'd wanted, I did. So j'avais voulu. So don't forget, Sue, if you use had, your third word is going to be the same as if you did the 1, 2, 3. So I have spoken, j'ai parlé, I had spoken, j'avais parlé. Roxanne has found, Roxanne has opened, Roxanne a ouvert, Roxanne had opened, Roxanne avait ouvert. Yeah? All right? Now, you don't always use voulu. You don't hear voulu that often because you say j'ai voulu, but you will often say je voulais. But if you're using the had tense of a verb, then you're absolutely going to be using the past participle. So even though normally you would say j'ai, okay, so I knew, je savais. You're more likely to say je savais with certain verbs than you are to say j'ai su. But if I had known, si j'avais su. That's if you're using savoir rather than connaître, which is to know a person. So in other words, si j'avais voulu, is it, what did I give you? I had wanted to go to Paris, so j'avais voulu, yeah, to go to Paris to see you. So lovely. Pour te voir. Now, what I loved about the pour, Sue, is that you knew that we needed a pour for in order to. And the speed with which you went pour te voir were gorgeous. That was ahead of the lessons you've done. That was basically not making a big song and dance out of the pronouns. Very good, right? But something makes it difficult every time. Let's see if we can end as well as we've started. Lovely. Now, something rend. So Sue has done two things right. She's remembered that to make something an adjective is rendre. Yeah? So Luc makes me happy, Luc me rend content, versus Luc makes me speak, Luc me fait parler. I don't make many people happy. I make them bilingual, but I don't make them happy. I know my lot in life. Je connais mon sort, my destiny, my fate, mon sort. Yeah, so she's also realized it's a soft, hard verb. So, you know, rend. So something makes it difficult. Something is just like a he or a she. Quelque chose, but I want something makes it. Quelque chose le rend. So something makes it. Quelque chose le rend. We're going to use le. Yeah, we wouldn't say quelque chose rend ça difficile. Quelque chose le rend. But there's some bloody good work in there, Sue. There's some bloody good work. I'm not going to give you a new one now because I've got you in the week and also the stuff that you should be listening to in this class that's new to you. So you pay attention to this, but bloody big improvement and nice pronunciation. All right, good. Cracking on quickly. We're back with Marcy. He will be able to help me to speak next week. Oh, Marcy, all the grammar was good, but it was just the word order. So he will be able to help me. You've taken the dictionary infinitive and you've applied it, Marcy. Excellent. Il pourra m'aider à. So there's an a day between there's an at between the a day and what you're helping that person to do. That's it. You've done it, Marcy. I apologized. I hadn't listened to the end. So basically, guys, the word, so he will be able to help me to, what did I give you? So he'll be able to help me to speak next week. Il pourra m'aider à parler, normal French, il pourra m'aider à parler, il pourra m'aider à parler, il pourra m'aider à parler la semaine prochaine. The word prochain, feminine prochaine, the word dernier, feminine dernière, can go in two places. If you're talking about time relating to now. So next week, next year, last week, last year, la semaine dernière, la semaine prochaine, l'année dernière, l'année prochaine. If you are using the word last and next in a list, like the next guy that comes in here, the last guy that came in here, then it's going to go before your noun. Yeah, le dernier mec, le dernier type, le dernier homme. Okay, the next guy, le prochain mec. Yeah. So in other words, your mouth gets used to sticking it on both sides. There is a video I have done about adjective order. All right. So if you are interested in how some adjectives can float around, sometimes they'll come afterwards, sometimes they'll come before, drop me an email and say to me, Lukey, please might I have access to your beloved video on adjective order, and I will respond. All right. Don't do that in the WhatsApp. But good, Marcy. Bearing in mind we were bloody looking at how to put pronouns before verbs like 2-3 weeks ago, Marcy. Fantastic. That's what the podcasts do for you people. Just saying. So now we're changing he will be able to, would be able to, and we're changing help me to help her. And the dictionary infinitive was aider à quelqu'un. So I'm going to be wanting to see here a would be able to, pourrait, often known as as could, and I'm going to wanting to be see a lui because it's aider à quelqu'un, and that à quelqu'un is going to manifest as a pronoun, and it's going to be lui. So before I hear this, I'm going to want to hear il pourrait lui aider. Let's see what Marcy's come up with, because this is quite difficult for her. So you've got the pourrait. You've got the pourrait. Well done, Marcy. If the verb is aider, actually, what am I talking about? What the hell am I talking about? Sorry, I was thinking of a different verb. Aider quelqu'un. It's not aider à quelqu'un. So absolutely, il pourrait. I'm not looking for lui. I'm thinking of help someone. I'm thinking of allow someone. You're absolutely right. It's aider quelqu'un à faire. It's not aider à quelqu'un. So I'm looking for pourrait and l'aider, not lui aider. He could allow her. This is why you can't speak French slowly and you can't divide it. Il pourrait lui permettre. Yeah. Il pourrait l'aider. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to speak. Il pourrait l'aider. Yes. So the fact is, yes, Marcy, brilliant, because it's not indirect. Lovely. Brilliant. I apologize. Yeah. Excellent, Mars. Wonderful work. Really pleased with John. Really pleased with, Izzy. Really, I'm pleased with everybody. These are people who have really done well this week. So Izzy's doing fantastically. John's doing fantastically. Cherry has the most gorgeous accent in the world, but I need to get you to grips with grammar. Some good stuff. Right. Have I got one from Roxanne? Yes. Right. Roxanne's is through. Well, Roxanne, when you've got time, we'll do a half-hour voice class on here, Skype. Treat yourself, don't cheat yourself, and I'll sort out how to improve your accent, okay? Because that's a breathing thing. So you've written out in full. So Luke is happy that I've arrived. He's going to help me. My French is improving thanks to his videos. Without which, let me see. without which I could not continue. Now, bottom line is, Roxanne, I'd understand what you've said and written. So before I listen to it, I'm going to correct the grammar from what you've actually written out for me, right? So Luc is happy that I've arrived. Luc est heureux que je sois arrivé. Luc est heureux que je sois arrivé. That is the subjunctive. Now you tell me in a little WhatsApp now, you just say for me, understand, or you say, I wouldn't have understood that. If it's just a case that you forgot, yeah, fine. If it's a case of, Lukey, I'm not quite sure why that's subjunctive, I never quite covered that in my time in France, then can you please just let me know and say, didn't know that? And can you send me an email asking for the subjunctive videos? And also, Suzanne, I really recommend the podcast because they cover the subjunctive. They cover lots of things. Look what it's doing for Marcy, look what it's doing for Sue. So send me an email if you didn't understand that. But in other words, I am happy that, as Cherry will tell you, is, subjunctive, all right? So, je suis contente or je suis heureuse, if you're a lady, que Luc est content, Luc est heureux. I'm talking about Luc. Luc est content, Luc est heureux que je sois arrivé. That will be subjunctive. He's going to help me. Il va m'aider. Lovely. Is that what I gave you? He's going to help me to speak. You didn't give me to speak. Il va m'aider, as Marcy can tell you, il va m'aider à parler, to help someone à, right? My French is getting better. So, mon français, not ma français. Firstly, if you say the word français, it's the masculine form, isn't it? Luc est français, Véronique est française. So if you're saying français, it's the masculine sounding word. The word for language is indeed feminine, une langue, la langue française, but my French is mon français, all right? So my French is improving, mon français s'améliore, because it's a reflexive verb. Your French isn't improving world hunger. Your French isn't improving your sex life. Well, it might be. Your French isn't improving, the air. So in other words, when your French is improving, it's got to be your French is improving itself. So ton français s'améliore. That's a reflexive verb. So I improved my French. J'ai amélioré mon français. I improved, just me personally, je me suis amélioré. All right? So that's a common error. Thanks to his videos, grâce à ses vidéos, lovely. Only thing I'd tell you to be careful with there, guys, if you had thanks to and a le, la, les, so grâce à, what did I tell you about de? Same thing for à. De and à are not words, they are concepts. So grâce au, au, or grâce au, aux, if you had a plural or a masculine. À cause de or à cause des, if you had a plural or a masculine. So thanks to his videos, grâce à ses vidéos, without which, now videos is feminine, so it would be, it wouldn't be sans anyway, but without which we need to watch the relative pronouns video, yeah, without which, sans lesquels, yeah, sans lesquels. So basically from that, all right, you need a little, don't get me wrong, there's lots of good vocabulary and you're going to absolutely soar, you just need somebody to keep a sharp eye on you. You've got a lot of good stuff in your mouth, Roxanne. Great. We've got an excellent starting point. But we need to watch the video on relative pronouns. We need to watch the videos on the reflexive. And we need to watch the videos on the subjunctive. So send me a email and I'll post you those videos. All right? Good. But, I'd have understood you, but, we've got the stuff there. Okay? Good. Izzy, and then we're nearly done. Luke is so happy that I managed it. Now, did I prescribe a specific verb? I think I did. Luke is so happy. Did I prescribe a specific verb that I want for so happy? I did. I gave you s'en sortir. Yeah, okay. So Luke is so happy that I managed it. It's going to help me a lot being able to do this kind of thing. That was from Izzy. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So Luc est si content. I'd say it's slightly less oral French and a little bit more correct to say Luc est tellement content. Luc is so happy. Luc est tellement content que je m'en sois sorti. So John, who's still there in the dark, je me suis... So listen, we had an ABC verb, se sortir de quelque chose. Get yourself out of something. which when we then don't use the get yourself out of the thing, cherry, yeah, when we've not got the object, that's then going to become on. So je m'en suis sorti, when that's subjunctive, que je m'en sois sorti. Okay, Luc est tellement content que je m'en sois sorti. Good, is he? All right. Those of you that are absolutely scared shitless by that, you are literally 2-3 weeks away from that. It really is just a question of getting verbs with reflexive pronouns down, the poetry past. Je me suis, tu, t'es, il, say. Watch the poetry past video. If you don't know how to do reflexive in the past, drop me an email. Say you don't know how to do the reflexive in the past, and I will answer you. Then it's a question of just learning subjunctive and popping the two together. All right? Ça va m'aider beaucoup, word order. Ça va beaucoup m'aider. Adverbs after verb number 1. Yeah? Ça va beaucoup m'aider, yeah? And nice that you used an ing, that you didn't feel the need to go with doing or being able to, yeah? Because we only use the ing when we've got an adjective. I am annoying, je suis énervant. After the word in speaking to Roxanne, I realized she had a good starting point in French, en parlant. Or if we said something like after, they're the main two. Anything else in French, if you say ing in English, you'll have to use a different system. After speaking with my friend John, après avoir parlé, Luc is speaking, Luc parle. Yeah, there's always ways that we get around the ing. Or the infinitive. So the only thing I'd say there would be c'est utile, ça va beaucoup m'aider de pouvoir faire ce genre de choses. Yeah. If you started your sentence easy with being able to speak French is very useful. Then you would just start straight with the infinitive. Pouvoir parler en français, you know. But in this sentence, de pouvoir, whatever. Good. Excellent. Anybody else left? Yeah, I've got Cherry left to mark. Lovely. So basically, I think I've told you before, Sam, you've clocked what I was saying, that I have ever seen, even though you could be absolutely shitting sure of it, that it's the best you've ever seen, and you should be. You write that with a subjunctive. Good. I've got a couple more. I've got John, Stephen. Right. Then we're done. We're on the homeward straight. Hey, I'm just teaching a live YouTube class. I'm not ignoring your message. I just suddenly seen that it keeps flashing. I'll be done in just 5 minutes. Okay, I'll call you. I'll call you right back. That's my friend Todd and Esme, two lovely friends, lovely boyfriend girlfriend, and I think he's a little bit drunk. So we've got I've got a couple more. So very quickly, John. John, all my compliments wasted. Don't use se souvenir with le. It's an A, B, C verb. What is the theme of the lesson? Can we use an A, B, C with le? Fucking no. We have to use on, de, don, on. Yeah, you can't use le, you can't use me. Cherry tried to do that, bless her. She tried to do that 45 minutes ago. She's obviously starting a slightly advanced point compared to you, but you should have been listening to my corrections, guys, are not just for the individual person, they're for all of you. Now I'm having to say the same shitting stuff, John, that I said to Cherry. You can't use le with an ABC verb, all right? So, where is it? What's your thing? John, I'm angry. You were doing so well. I used to remember it, but I wouldn't have seen it if Luke hadn't shown me. So there's no je me le souvenais de. Also, John, you've just gone je me le souvenais de, which means you acknowledge that the verb has a de. Trident verbs, man. Je m'en souvenais is the answer there. Yes? Shame on you. All right, je m'en souvenais. But I wouldn't have seen it. I wouldn't have, John, not I hadn't. Je ne l'aurais pas vu. Yeah? If Luke hadn't shown me. Si Luke ne me... Now, lovely. So there we can use a le. If Luke hadn't shown it me, yeah, Luc me l'avait pas montré, or Luc ne me l'avait pas montré, with or without the ne. Because you can use a le there, John, you can use a le there, Cherry. Why? Because it's a normal freaking verb. It's a direct verb. Luke shows it, all right? Exactly, all right? So the answer should have been, I used to remember it, je m'en souvenais, but I wouldn't have seen it, mais je ne l'aurais pas vu, je ne l'aurais pas vu if Luke hadn't shown me it, si Luc ne me l'avait pas montré. Yeah? ABC verbs, people. This is why I do this. Yeah? Do you see why I bust a fucking bollock to get this into you? All right? Good. Stephen, we're nearly done. So, Stephen's work. Luke is really happy that I looked after them. He shouldn't have ever left them alone. Careful dropping the te. Luc est très content. No, Luc est très content. Yep, Luc is at Mayen. So everybody goes back when they get tired into the same thing. Everybody is so proud that their brains have gone je le, je la, je l'ai for the pronouns. And it is decent. It's, well done. Okay, fine. But when you are using ABC verbs, the same as your your partner in crime, John, you cannot use le, la, le. The verb in question is s'occuper. S'occuper. So either you are going to have, so number one, it's a reflexive verb. So je me suis occupé de something. Now, your only two options are either to should. So you're either going to say, so I looked after. So you're either going to say, I looked after, let's say, the situation. So je me suis occupé de la situation. Je me suis occupé de la situation. Or I looked after it. Je m'en suis occupé, still using a reflexive verb in the past, but sticking on in the middle because we are using an ABC verb. That means reflexive verb with a preposition. Or what have I been telling you a lesson? Don't do that with people. For people, I looked after him or something. Je me suis occupé de lui. So in short, if you have a reflexive verb which uses a preposition known as an ABC verb in my technique, to remind you, there are three ingredients. A is the reflexive, B is the verb, C is the preposition. You cannot use le. Just because in other spaces, in French, you can use me, not in here. All right? So Luke is happy that I looked after them. The books, which was my way of telling you can use on in the sentence. So Luc est très content que je m'en sois occupé. Yeah, because it's going to be je me suis, je me sois, subjunctive, je m'en sois, because it's I looked after them, all right? You need to watch a video, Stephen and John, which is called Using On with Reflexive Verbs in the Past, or something to that effect. If you email me, John, I know you email me anyway, but Stephen, if you email me, I know I'm seeing you the week after next, but in the meantime, if you email me and say, Luke, can I have that video? Do please send me that, because I want you to have time to watch, all right? He shouldn't have ever left them. Let's carry on. Let's see what's left. Il n'aurait dû, lovely rhythm, Stephen, but remember, adverbs after verb number one. So one of the reasons this new project that I'm bringing to the more advanced is which words you stress, is so that you pick up the rhythm and the cadence more. So that you don't go, il n'aurait jamais, it's just, yeah, il n'aurait jamais dû, il n'aurait jamais dû, il n'aurait jamais dû, il n'aurait jamais dû, left them. Il n'aurait jamais dû les leader. Well, you've gone with quitter, but in this case, les laisser, because he's them all alone. Lovely, okay? So some bloody good stuff already there with you, Stephen, but we've got some work to do. Great, excellent, you know. Almost done. We've got Alex, Roxanne, 3 more people to listen till we're finished. If Luke hadn't allowed himself to drink a lot of coffee today, he wouldn't have managed it. Lovely. Si Luke ne s'était pas. So although I'm one for saying, don't forget the ne, although I'm one for saying you can forget the ne in a lot of situations, for some reason that offends my ear there. So for some reason I want that ne back in there. Si Luke ne s'était pas, yeah, si Luke s'était pas, si Luke ne s'était pas. So, si Luke ne s'était pas permis de boire, so we've got reflexive. So you've taken a normal freaking verb to allow, and because you're doing it to yourself, it is therefore reflexive, which means it's therefore going to be in the past. So Luke allowed himself. Luke s'est permis. If you don't understand what that is in the reflexive, please email me saying, Luke, what is this reflexive in the past business with être? I'm lost. I thought permettre was an avoir verb. Je lui ai permis. What the fuck is going on? Email me, I'll send you the video. If Luke hadn't allowed himself, si Luke ne s'était pas permis de, always de, permettre à quelqu'un de faire quelque chose. Ask Marcy, she's my new dictionary infinitive girl. Si Luke ne s'était pas permis de boire beaucoup de café aujourd'hui, he wouldn't have managed it. So he wouldn't have managed it. Il aurait pas réussi. Il n'aurait pas réussi. But if I'm not mistaken, I told you underneath, Alex, that I specifically wanted the verbs s'en sortir or se débrouiller using. So, il ne s'en serait pas sorti or il ne s'en serait pas débrouillé. Yeah, that was the verb I wanted using, Mr. Alex. Yeah, so have a little, watch this back, have a little think. In case you've gone, can you watch the video at 1 minute and 35? No, 1 hour and 35 minutes, because I'm dealing with your problem and I really want you to see what we've done with it, all right? That's in case he's gone. Good. 2 more and we're finished. We've got the lovely Cherry and the lovely Roxanne. Cherry had 4. I used to look after it. I used to look after him. The book I used to look at, yeah. Lovely. So basically, Cherry, all you've done in the first, so they're both right, but remember, whatever's going on, that's just a different tense. So you've given me je m'en occupais. So you've given me that, and you could just as well have said, why can't my number lock work? It's really weird. Je m'en suis occupé. So basically, Cherry, either way, same grammar, but you're just changing tense. So je me suis occupé or je m'en suis occupé or je m'en occupé. One is just the was, one is the, you know, so if I gave you I looked after it, then arguably either would have worked, because either it's going to be one moment I looked after it or I looked after it, you know. So both would have worked, but the point is you've got the on there. So I used to look after it, je m'en occupé. Oh no, I did give you used to. I did give you used to, so that's why you went with the was the first time. I understand. The second time I looked after it, I can see why you went with je m'en suis occupé. I looked after him. Lovely, je me suis occupé de lui. Lovely, Cherry. Brilliant. Because you can't use on with the person with the ABC. The book I used to look after. Now, the grammar here should be, in theory, the same. Yes! Cherry, you have an absolute gift for when I give you a correction and you turn the bullshit that came out before, you say it as if you've been saying it all your life. Lovely. Lovely. Well learned. Good girl. Good job. All right? So we all now know what we're doing with a reflexive verb with a preposition a bit more. If you think this video was a useful topic choice, do please comment. You know, do please let me know under the video in a comment. I would appreciate it. Final one, we're on to La Belle Roxane. Okay? I don't know why that's the case, but I do understand that now you said it. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Oh, and that was your so basically, Roxanne, you stop being hard on your accent. I mean, there's work to do, but you're at an excellent starting point. An excellent starting point. Okay. We just need the shortcuts. So you and I need a little talk, Roxanne, on Skype, just for me to give you some direction about what videos and stuff you do. And guys, I do this. I don't particularly charge for this. This isn't like a lesson. This is just I'll have a conversation with somebody for 5 minutes and say what I think they should be doing to get themselves on track. If anybody's interested, by all means, just WhatsApp me. Say, Lukey, can I book you for a little conversation? If you are based in the UK, obviously we can do that over the phone. If you're based abroad, happy to do it on Skype. All right. I'm happy to teach all of you one-on-one. I'm happy to teach all of you the podcasts. I'm happy to do all of the stuff, but I do always cater to the autodidact. If you are never going to be doing private classes with me, your place is very much amongst us and you are very welcome. Please, can I make that very, very clear? Okay. Lovely, the Asian Persuasion. I like your name. Asian Persuasion, if you're doing A-level French next year, can I remind you that there's an A-level playlist? Okay. Brilliant. That's everybody done that I can see. Sam's I've already looked at. Fuck me hard, I'm shattered. I'm not normally tired, but like I said, I had a bit of a gluten incident this week. Good. So can you see why we made this week's focus ABC verbs? I think we bloody can. Yeah, I think we can, from the shit parade that happened before we got going, and then we're all so much better. Lovely. All right. I will be here next week. Yeah. I'm jumping a horse on Wednesday. We've got a massive jump thing. Fingers crossed I'll still be here next week. Not in the condition of, bless his heart, Christopher Reeve. But even if I have to be strapped up, I will do it. All right. Thank you very much. Take care, take care, take care, take care. Well done.